Boom! You know, seeing this along with the rest of the cast in that particular direct was such a reality-bending experience. Like, seeing Seth Rogen as part of the main cast when I often rewatched those movies during that time will never leave my head. Everyone knew where they were when that direct came out. What the fuck? I mean, people were already feisty about the Mario movie being handled by Illumination because... well, it's Illumination. But as the internet raved about this part of the direct, the main things I've heard about it during the time was mainly ironic anticipation, not too uncommon with how people reacted to the Minecraft movie. Do y'all remember that post of a made-up Mario movie trailer on 4chan? Skip ahead to around like a year later, we first saw footage of it and it actually wasn't bad. Ignoring the marketing's choices for Pratt's recording.
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come!
Bruh. As more footage of the film came on, the internet had actually started to anticipate the film in an unironic way now, actually being excited for the thing instead of thinking it's gonna be the joke of the year. It's now April of 2023. I had to survive 2 days of avoiding spoilers because the film got pushed back 2 days earlier. It came out on a Wednesday and I wanted to watch it on a Friday. Thanks guys. And I liked it. Being totally honest, I still prefer the Sonic films, even the first one over this film, but I'm very grateful that we even got this film at all, as someone who enjoyed Mario for a lot of my life. I think I have more Mario stuff than Sonic stuff now that I look at this. Over time, however, no easy way of saying this, but I've started to not like the film a whole lot during rewatches, but okay, let's properly introduce the film now. The Super Mario Bros. Movie, it's a 2023 Illumination film in collaboration with Nintendo, the company that made the Mario series. If you're a PlayStation, Xbox, or PC user that didn't know. The film was made on a budget of 100 million USD and got 1.36 billion USD on the box office, which is 136% greater than the budget. Dude, I'm telling you, the sequel is going to be the best-selling film of next year. I guarantee you right now. However, while audiences loved the movie, particularly the people who were already Mario fans, some of the critics didn't like it a whole lot, which I understand, but some of the shit they said was very out of touch. Don't worry, not all of them are like this. Where do I stand on this? Okay, let me put it this way. This film is an amazing Mario movie, but it's not that good of a film in general. Let me explain. When talking about the former, there's no other way to sugarcoat it. This film represents the Mario and even the Donkey Kong brand amazingly. Mostly, but those parts that don't are very nitpicky. What the hell happened to Tollsworth? The visuals alone are like if Nintendo made the PlayStation 7. As Illumination managed to make their films a lot more visually appealing over time, they managed to make a lot of their textures, lighting, and environment look way past the nice generation console's visuals like their previous film, Rise of Gru. Like, look at Rise of Gru and tell me how this looks better than like Ratchet and Clank. Like, dude, this is straight up the PlayStation 7. It's absolute eye candy. You cannot tell me people, even if they're outside of being a Mario fan, don't eat this shit up. The Mushroom Kingdom universe is something I could gush about a lot, and even on normal Earth, the environment looks pretty nice. Don't get me started on references. A lot of them are very sweet, and really cool how they also included Nintendo overall references like Kid Icarus, Balloon Fight Box Art Guy, Punch Out, technically Smash Bros, etc. Gets a bit on your face in a very annoying way, like the other castle line, and the Blue Koopa General yelling Blue Shell bothers me a lot. I don't know why that shit pisses me off. Either way, the Nintendo YouTubers definitely had a field day analyzing this film. The actual characters are portrayed to where I can totally see them acting the way they do if the mainline games put more emphasis on their story that isn't a spin-off, but I'll tackle the actual writing later. Even their music is an amazing adaptation of the many Mario soundtracks it's paying homage to. The motives and themes from the games are incorporated so well into film and never feels jarring whatsoever. Brian Tyler, my beloved. So while I'm on the music, I want to bring up that some of the original tracks got replaced by licensed songs, and they do feel jarring. I like the one where they're making cards, aka Thunderstruck, but everything else is just not suitable. Like, it sticks out sorely like a bad thumb. Like, there was an original DK track for the introducing the Kong Island scene, but that being replaced by Take On Me, again, that just feels very jarring, and also just that does not feel like a Nintendo decision. Furthermore, they didn't properly credit Grant Kirkhope for the DK rap track and only listed what the song was associated with was from Donkey Kong 64. You lazy assholes. Moving past that, this is an amazing Mario film in terms of adaptation. You could tell that the filmmakers really were such diehard Mario fans that they felt like they wanted to adapt everything from the games into the film with passion and sincerity. Can you really blame Nathaniel Bandy, a huge Mario fan, for saying that this is one of his favorite films ever?
I gotta say, as a massive Mario fan, this was one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen. I've been a huge Mario fan for a long time, and this movie is quite literally catering to me in every single way possible.
There's a huge obvious reason for why he said that. Okay, now that we've established that as an amazing representation of Mario and DK brand, when we're talking about the latter, I'm just gonna come out right here and say it. The actual movie and the writing itself is weak. Like, I think Sonic 1 and Angry Birds 1 have better scripts than the Mario movie. Yeah, I'm serious when I say that. Oh, also, while we're here, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and tell me what you think of this whole thing in the comments. I forgot to say all this in my previous video. How did I even manage to do that? Charlie 5 made an amazing video going over how he would rewrite the film, in which he brought up a lot of flaws in the film and showcased how it could be stronger as a narrative in his opinion. A lot of which I do definitely agree with. Something that I want to bring up, and something Charlie himself mentioned, is that movies and games have their own separate goals to be the best they could. Okay, games are a bit finicky, in which there's like a spectrum of whether they favor gameplay or narrative, but in the case of mainline Mario, they mainly prioritize gameplay and don't pay that much attention to making a flowing narrative, but instead focus on the quality of the actual game. They want to be known as fun games, and so set out to make the gameplay fun, which means more focus on game design rather than dialogue, which is fine in the medium mainline Mario is in. In a movie, however, you don't have the interactivity, so the main priority is making an engaging narrative instead, which is what many defenders of the film don't realize. You can have all your action scenes and cute references of Mario's forward aerial from Smash, but that shouldn't be the cover-up of having a weak story, especially if people don't particularly with Mario, so those references don't affect them at all. Okay, but let's actually get into the writing, or aspects of it. Starting off with the characters, Mario's a standard individual who strives to prove himself, and it's the definition of serviceable. He wants to prove he can do better. Something I'm so glad so many people acknowledge is the lack of Luigi's presence in the film. Luigi could have carried a lot of this film, much like Bowser did, and many of his scenes are great when he is on screen, particularly his scene with Bowser, but he never got to explore the Mushroom Kingdom universe that much, and that feels odd. Like, it's so odd to me how Luigi goes in the Darklands. Alright, the setup's pretty good because a lot of his Luigi's own adventure is him in a scary scene, like typically a mansion. Got that funny chase scene of Luigi running from the Bowser minions, then he gets captured, so he talks to Bowser and that's it. He just stays in that prison until he gets released by Mario, and then he gets to do stuff afterward. It's so weird how Mario gets to be on his own adventure. Okay, I think I'm getting a bit ahead of him. Bowser's a pretty good villain, but something about him feels like they wanted to lean into him being more silly. Like, you know what? I respect villains who are both threatening and silly, but it has to be that sweet middle spot. But it's not that much, admittedly. I just noticed that in rewatches. Plus, I wish Mario and Bowser got to interact more to really show their beef with each other. Maybe in the sequel, but Bowser's great anyways. Toad is like Bumblebee and Transformers 1. I don't hate their presence in the film, but they aren't the funniest character. Just leave it at that. Donkey Kong is cool. Kamek makes some pretty great interactions with Bowser. That Kamek dressing as Peach joke is amazing. Cranky exists. Alright, you're gonna have to forgive me for this because this is where I get really pressed. But the worst character of this film for me is Princess Peach. Princess Peach is such a Mary Sue that it actively ticks me off when rewatching the film. I would have preferred her to be a damsel in distress because at least she doesn't have the capabilities to cheat the story to avoid danger. Seriously, she goes through the trouble of getting a Kong army to fight Bowser, but when she's on her own paired with him in the wedding, she fucking freezes them quickly within a matter of seconds while going sword mode on his army. So all of that effort to get the Kongs and getting them captured was for nothing if this is what you're capable of?
And who would recover us? For what reason? Shoot us all!
Oh, that was really like, oh, I got everything under control. Yeah, a little bit of assistance from Toad, which, by the way, how the hell wasn't he like contained in magic by Kamek? How the hell did he escape? Anyways, when you're on your own, that's when you decide to kick ass. Just beat everyone. So there was no point for the goddamn Kongs to be there. The character gets no signs of vulnerability and gains Reverse Flash Season 1, if you know what I'm talking about. Reverse Flash Season 1 levels of planning ahead. Like, it feels like Mario was just an enabler for her actions. It didn't really feel like Mario was doing the things that Peach couldn't do. I cannot underestimate how much Peach just kind of rubs me the wrong way in this film. Oh my god! Anyways, tangent over. I feel like Peach being a Mary Sue in this film is a sign that the narrative is weak in many aspects. The biggest issue many people bring up with this film is the pacing of how the events flow. I mean, they also brought up that the story itself is bare bones, but I don't want to immediately deem something being bare bones as automatically bad. Sonic 1 is a film I enjoy a lot because the writers managed to turn something basic and generic into an engaging story. To me, anyways, I love Sonic 1. I don't know about you. But what makes that film different is that it takes its time to flesh out the world. world and the characters in that story so that you give a shit about them and to give something more than action scenes to the viewer's experience. Mario movie quickly goes by through these non-action scenes like Mario's bedroom scene, Mario and Luigi talking, takes 30 seconds, and then something appears in the news where they go like, alright, let's do our thing. And Mario's pep talk with DK inside the eel is more so treated like a joke instead of being serious. Look, I love the action scenes in this film. They're well directed and fun to watch, but how does Angry Birds 1 take more time to settle down and commit to these gentle moments in this film? Because that's crazy. I give a shit more about Red than Mario. What? Am I asking for Spider-Verse emotional scenes? Oh god, no. Mario doesn't need to be that deep. But when you set up the narrative where there will be time to settle down and rush by that quickly because you don't want to focus your time on making those moments valuable, people will question why you did nothing with them. I'm not even asking for Mario to be serious. I'm more so questioning that why did they set this up to go to that direction and say you just don't do anything with them? At least other Illumination films knew to maybe focus on the characters or actually focus on the goofy shit that people want to focus on. Even when the film does settle down, like Princess Peach arrival in the Mushroom Kingdom, what makes that scene not work is how it literally serves no purpose to the current story whatsoever. Maybe it'll gain some significance in the sequel, but in the context of the story of this film, that scene still falls flat on its face because what's the point of it? It also doesn't help that as a result of the film speedrunning to get exciting things to happen, the film just forgets stuff. Like after Mario and Luigi gets transported to the Mushroom Kingdom, we never see Brooklyn after this. Like, wasn't it getting flooded? How did everything get resolved? We don't see Brooklyn again until the final battle. What the hell happened between then? And also something else that I never really saw anyone brought up is the Toad gasping about Mario being gone when Peach returned to the Mushroom Kingdom. Wasn't one of the jokes basically a Toad saying, who the hell was bro?
Who's he?
Those are other things I could mention, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Mario movie has a narrative that bothers me in many aspects, but I don't want to say it's an awful story because there is a lot of neat things I could point out with it. As brought up earlier, Luigi entering the Darklands is a great start because, as said earlier, Luigi's solo adventures like the Mansion games goes more into showing his character's personality. Mario and Luigi's normal life on Earth is pretty interesting as that doesn't happen often in Mario media. Like, can you tell me any, okay, aside from the Super Show, can you tell me any other time where Mario and Luigi was in the real world? Ignore that. DK's personality being this big shot basically just to gain attention from his dad is an interesting take for the character until they don't focus too much on it. The Mushroom Kingdom being more civilized while Kong Island is more chaotic actually brings an interesting beef between Peach and Craigie's civilization. Like, take a listen to this line.
Their mad king doesn't make alliances. The Kongs will never agree.
Mario politics actually sounds pretty interesting, I'm not gonna lie. But the detail I love most about this film is Bowser's tangent in the final battle.
You ruined my wedding! I was finally gonna be happy! Now you will suffer! Like me!
This changes Bowser's characterization to a really thought-provoking level in my opinion. In the games, you could assume that Bowser just kidnaps girls because he's evil and all that. Beat the bad guy, punch him, and whack him with a hammer, rip his pee-pee off.
No, he turned it sideways. Kill shot! That's a kill shot!
But in this movie, it implies that Bowser is not a happy individual and love is the one thing that can help him fill that void. That is such a unique concept for this film. For the Mario brand, actually, you never really see anything similar like that happen, where Bowser isn't just doing the things he does just for the sake of being evil. He's doing it because he has like emotional issues. I don't know, let's just go with that. But yeah, like that's such a unique take for the Mario brand. It ends up making Bowser feel really layered somehow. Okay, I know I just went on for like the past few minutes just basically being angry and only bringing up a few minuscule things that I like about the film. Okay, look, I'm glad we got this film to begin with, okay? I adored this film a lot as a Mario fan, and I like many aspects of the actual film as a moviegoer, but I can't just ignore the fact that there's many aspects of this film that bothers me as a moviegoer. I mean, this is still going to be my favorite Illumination movie as, you know, there's that Mario brain rot within me, but being more critical and unbiased, I think Despicable Me 1's the best Illumination movie. Yes, there's a difference between something being my favorite and something being the best. Despicable Me 1 definitely has a much better script, as it does more than what the Mario movie could do, making it a lot more narratively stronger in my opinion. But that's not to say this film is bad at all. I am grateful we got this film at all, and I'm very glad it succeeded. Like, $1 billion, like, that is insane. And if you like this film a lot more than me, more power to you. I don't want to be here to be the one to say, oh, you can't like this film because there are bad things within. If you like these bad things, you're an idiot. I don't want to be like that type of guy. This is what I think. But also, don't go after people who think otherwise. Don't try to force people to like the things. Oh, ignore all the bad stuff. Just like it. Just like it. Turn your brain off. Just don't act like that type of person, you f***ing idiots. Anyways, I'm definitely looking forward towards the sequel and see how it improves from the first one. And if he managed to mix it in, I hope they do Wario justice in my eyes. So, how many people do you think died in this scene?